Good afternoon, it's day 22 of the Solar Atlantic crossing, and today we're going to talk about power and how we generate power, how we store power, and how we do with electricity on board. So that will be an interesting episode where I will show you how we use the solar panels, how we use the batteries, and how everything works together. So as you can see, above the cockpit we have two big solar panels. They're 505 watts each, and they're just normal residential panels. So in total we have 1010 watt peaks of power. And they're on this arch, and they can also swivel forwards and backwards. So if the sun is really low and we need more, energy. For example, at the end of the season in the Mediterranean we had this, or if you go to higher latitudes, then it's good to be able to swivel the panels. I haven't used it that much, honestly, because we just have had more than enough power most of the time. But I've used it a couple of times just to squeeze in a little bit more amps when it has been cloudy for a couple of days. I got this made in Tunisia, the whole arch and everything, and I've been really happy with it. It provides a lot of power and provides some nice sunshade as well. And it provides this kind of cage around the cockpit where I can hold on to really well. So it also added safety. So I'm really happy with it. It works well, and it collects all the energy that I need. So here in the back cabin is where I have all the electronics. So you can see a big lithium bank. So this is 8 cells of 280 amp hours. So that makes 560 amp hours at 12 volts. Lithium batteries, they're EVE 280 amp cells. I got two big MPPTs for the solar panels. So each of them have their own MPPT, so shading doesn't matter. We got a servo to connect everything, and I'm still working on connecting the servo. I just installed it. I just need a cable to go from the servo also to the BMV to have everything connected. Here we have the main fuses, main switch, we have the battery fuses and everything. Also the starter is fused, and everything is fused. I'm still working on some stuff, so I don't have all the tie wraps on there, because I'm rewiring also the water maker with some bigger cables. And there we have the shunt, we have the negative bus bar, we have a DC-DC converter to charge the starter battery, because the alternator is connected through a separate alternator controller, a Balmer alternator controller, directly to the lithium. Our 120 amp alternator, which puts out about 100 amps continuous, straight to the lithium battery. So every time I'm motoring, it really charges up the lithium batteries quickly. So that's really nice as well. That can fill in any gaps that I have if we don't have enough solar, but almost all of the time we have enough solar. And here is a balancer, so that's a separate balancer. That's the knee balancer. That one balances all the cells, so it's a 4 amp balancer. I'm really happy with the setup. It has worked really well for the past, I think I installed it almost 4 years ago now. I just did a capacity test, and from the 560 amps I could pull like 540. Could probably pull a little bit more if I charge it a little bit more, so probably like 545, 550 amp hours left after 4 years of full-time use. So I'm really happy with that, and it has been working really nicely. So on my phone I can go into the Victor map to check out how the batteries are doing and how their solar is charging. So I can go to the solar charge controller. It's loading a little bit. And here you can see it's even a little bit cloudy, but we're still charging at 280 watts. And you can see the past few days we have had more than enough power. It even goes into absorption for quite a few hours. Here around the equator, the sun is just really powerful. Even if there's clouds, it's still really powerful. So we can go into the battery monitor to check out how the batteries are doing over the trip. But then you can see over the whole trip we've been mostly between 80 to 100% full at the end of the day, and going down to about 60%. The dip all the way there is before I left, and I even forgot to charge the batteries all the way before I left with shore power. But we've just been cycling between 80 to 60%, and now the past few days we are reaching 100% easily because there's just a lot of sun. I'm quite a heavy power user. I have a fridge, I have a freezer, and I have a second fridge, so that uses quite a bit of power. Those use most of the power. Then normally if we are on anchor we cook electrically as well. We have an induction cook plate. While I'm on the way I cook on gas, because then I can secure the pots and pans better. But normally we cook on induction as well, and that uses about 1 to 1.5 kilowatt hours a day, even extra. Now we're averaging about 3 to 3.5 kilowatt hours a day that we use. The solar panels provide all the power, so that's nice. Normally when we're on anchor, we use about similar to that as well, like 3 to 4 kilowatt hours, depending on how much we cook. If we use the oven, it's gas, so we don't use the power. If we use induction cooking, we use a little bit more. And then it also depends on how many hours we use the Starlink, because Starlink uses quite a bit of power. It averages around 35 to 45 watts. So yeah, it uses quite a bit of power. That's, I think, the biggest downside to Starlink, the power use. You can convert it to 12 volts, but it will still use quite a bit of power. Yeah, so in total, I'm quite a heavy user of power, but that's also why I have the big solar powers, the big solar panels, because power is also a lot of luxury. Like, we have a big inverter, so we can run everything on the big inverter. Like, we have all the wall plugs like you would have in a house, and that makes life on board really nice. Today is making new lures for the fishing line, because as you can see, we only have one lure on the left. Like, we started with 4 in a row. So apparently we caught more fish than we took in. I think the barracudas, they just have 2 sharp teeth which chew off the line, or we caught a fish that's too big and it just broke it, but there's some chewing marks on there as well. Yeah, I spent all morning looking for where I have the lures and all my fishing gear, because I put it in a good spot, an easy to reach spot before I left. I remember doing it, I just don't know where it is. So I've been sweating and looking through the boat in every corner where I can find it. I haven't found it yet, so that's still something I have to do. And the sailing has been really nice today. The wind has shifted more from the back. So we're sailing a little bit more downwind, like on the beam reach. It's just really nice. Like, the sails are full. We're not heeling that much anymore. Only when a wave passes by, we're heeling a little bit. And we're making good progress again. We did 159 miles in the past 24 hours. So yeah, we're still hauling and yeah, enjoying this sail. Less than 900 miles to go. So yeah, should take us, well, with these kind of speeds, like 6, maximum 7 days. So yeah, I'm expecting to be there around the 5th or the 6th of January if everything keeps on going like this. Got another fish on the line. It seems to be a tuna, so let's get him in. We got this beautiful yellowfin tuna. It's not the biggest one, but tunas are quite fat, so there's quite a bit of meat on there. There's definitely more meat on this one than on the barracuda that we caught yesterday. But yeah, we're getting closer to shore and there's more fish. Like, the middle of the Atlantic is kind of like a desert. There's not that many fish out there. The closer to shore you get, you'll find more fish like this. So I hope to fill up the freezer nicely in the coming days. So we're doing some really nice downwind sailing again. The wind has dropped quite a bit, so I pulled out the Genoa again. Always a fun thing to do alone. But yeah, now it's nice and steady. We're on full main, almost full Genoa, like as much as I can roll out with the pole there. And yeah, just gliding along. We got a nice sunset again and just gliding along nicely. We're still trolling the fishing line. I still haven't found the fishing gear, but we still have one lure on there. So yeah, finding the rest of the fishing gear is the task for tomorrow. During my daily check, I found this shaggle was loose. Like, I found the tie wrap that I used. It was on there probably for 4 years already, the tie wrap, so yeah, it was about to be gone. I saw the tie wrap on deck and I found the shackle loose, so tied it again and put a new tie wrap on there to lock it. If you like this video, please subscribe and follow along. I will try to upload a new one every day for as long as the crossing takes. Enjoy!